Hello, Martin. Thank you so much. Oh, it popped up. Talking about the backgrounds, which is really great. So, Two Minds Aligned. Thank you so much for accepting to be part of this interview for the Erasmus Plus project, Autism Spectrum Pathways. So, I'm Feliciea Jibson. I'm the CEO and founder of PAGS, and PAGS stands for Profile Assessment and Goal Setting, and we are the leading organization in this consortium. So, what we actually do in this project, we try to enhance the experiences we explore, as well as sharing the experiences and perspectives of employers, vocational schools, and autistic people in relation to training and employment opportunities. So we are launching, we have already launched an autism employment guide that is published on our website related to this project, which I will make it available to you. And we are currently seeking, in part of one of the packages, is the voices to capture the voices from the employees, from the vocational schools, and from the autistic individuals themselves, where they look for the employment. So, in this part, what is actually really important to us is that basically, via these interviews, we would like to spread the awareness about enhancing training opportunities for youngsters within the autistic community, and also to promote a deeper understanding of the benefits of best practices and positive approaches amongst the educators. So other colleges might see what you do and will take examples. So that's really good because it puts you on the spotlight. And also to help relevant stakeholder, meaning that they would like to understand more about the vocational schools and creating a more inclusive environment for autistic learners. And now that we have a new minister on the ways, don't we, from last night? So we have a new direction in the politics in Belgium, which looks very excited and looks like the one on the ways. The education is going to have is going to play a significant part, and this well-being, enhancing the well-being of people, and all that stuff. Would you please like to introduce yourself now? So sorry, after wrapping all this up and setting the scene.
I am Maarten, a founder and school leader here in Tvier. We are a Frenet school, it's called, with general education and vocational education from first to the 6th year. We have around 380 pupils at this moment in our 6 years. And I am the leader of the first 2 years, the first degree we call it. That's approximately the half of the students in our school. So the things I do here in school is mainly pedagogical leading and vision and quality vision and following up the quality of the school as a whole, and like coaching my team and coaching the care team also. So that's the main thing I do here for a living.
Oh, wow. You do a lot of things, and I've seen you performing in the school, and it's really amazing. I visited the school and I was so impressed about what I've seen in there in terms of education, learning opportunities, relationship in between staff and students.
Yeah.
And you had only laudative praises from the schools in Brussels. Oh, this is a super school in Kortrijk. So you will be pleased to hear that.
I am pleased to hear that.
Yeah. So Martin, I've got a couple of questions, if that is possible for you to answer. And again, this is to increase awareness of what you do. And for instance, in your school, you must have I don't know the percentages by heart, but you have a percentage of autistic learners. And we know that this percentage is actually rising in the mainstream school. What is your experience with this trend? What has been your experience about?
My experience is that we have the diversity of learners and learning problems. Also the appearing of autism spectrum disorders in whole, it is increasing. as a whole. So peoples who need more care than we basically give, we get them more and more and more. If you look into the in the history of our school, so and specifically what we call pupils with various forms of autism. We see two kinds of students here in school, like students with a form of autism and who are cognitive strong, and otherwise more like people with autism who need to really structure more, how do you say it in English? That it's not chaotic, that they know what to expect today. If we go on
Planning.
camp, that they know planning and so on. So, but we see as a whole, if you look besides of the label of autism, that pupils need more structure, more coaching in executive functions, so that it's really a thing that we have to take care of as a school. And I'm now for more than 20 years in education, always in secondary education here in Belgium. And the trend is that they now need more coaching than they did 20 years ago.
Wow.
So pupils have more troubles with organizing themselves, planning their school day, planning their homework, and so on and so on and so on, their tests, their exams. So they need more coaching, more instruments, more. So, and a lot of pupils now get labels, and one of those labels who has risen rapidly is autism. So, and we get pupils mainly for who it is possible to come to school in a normal school and not in special education, because they have a normal cognitivity or a strong cognitivity, and that's the way we see that the parents with children with those needs, they want, in the first place, they want their children come to a normal school. So they always try it. So that's also a trend that we see, that they ask for inclusion for this kind of students, with that the parents ask us, could we try it here at Vier? Could we try it? So, and sometimes it works, but in the 8 years of that the schools exist, also with a couple of students, it didn't work. And they are now in special education, but we tried it.
Yeah.
So it's an increasing trend, but not only with autistic students, we see this kind of needs that autistic students have also in the broader population.
Yeah. Thank you. This is a very comprehensive overview, Maarten. And I do remember that you have, if the percentages are correct, that you're saying that like 40% of people that you see a huge increase. So if we consider that maybe a couple of years ago was 15% and now is 40%, that means this percentage is going up. I'm really pleased, and this is not part of the interview, but with our solution that we can help you to deploy all this intervention plan and strategies and everything that is needed for the children in this place. Yeah.
I think now 8% of the learning disorders is autistic related.
Okay, so that's from your list.
8-9%, yes.
Yeah, so it's almost like a 1/4 of the identified conditions, if that's correct.
No, it's 10% from 40%. So you could say that 1 in the 20 students in our school has ASS, we call it.
Yeah.
So 1 in 20, 1 in 25, like kind of. So you could say in a class there's 1 student in each class.
Yeah.
If you add it up.
we know that could be identified or unidentified conditions. So we set up on this to share this experience with this trained. And for instance, in your school, you must have some policies and frameworks in place to ensure the inclusion, no, with the learners. Yeah. So would you please a little bit elaborate about what kind of framework you have in place and what kind of support you have implemented to support the autistic learners? You already mentioned, yeah.
But yeah, a lot. I think we have kind of 30 measures we take. 8 years ago, we wanted to be in UDL school, Universal Design for Learning. Now we want to be a school that takes care of the ones who need care. So because UDL is a very hard target to strive for, I think, but we have around 30 measurements global, and I will search if I don't. I will take my my document with me because it's really a lot. So we have some rubrics over there, like for example, how we are the climate in the class climate. That's very important. We want classes who are kind of calm, not overdone. So not everywhere posters, just some paint, a board in front, a projection screen in front, a clock, and not a lot of added value to that. So calm classes, a calm environment. So we have classes are for concentration. So we put them in a bus, for example, for concentration and instruction. We have also classes for individual work, and then we put all the benches in a U, so they look at the outside of the class, or they look at the wall or at the window. So the concern there is to concentrate on their own. So I don't know what the word it's called. If you say everything we hear and everything you
can say it in Flemish because
prikkels. The prikkels.
The prikkels.
Everything we hear, we see, with our senses.
The senses. Senses. These are the senses. Yeah.
So that's one team. So classes who are not too busy with all kind of
stimuli. We call them stimuli.
Yeah, all the stimulus. That is the word, the stimuli. Yes. Yeah. So they can have a fixed place. So that's my bench, and here that's my place. So that's all things. Then what we also do is structure in the lessons. So or the teacher says like, this is our plan today, or the teacher on our school environment or LMS or learning management system, they say this is our plan for this week, or this is our plan for this subject we do for this month, for example. So like every learner knows from every subject, what are we going to do and which are the exercises I need to do. So everything is in our learning management system, so they can follow it over there. They have also all of the lesson materials. They have also digital, and they have also the correct answers from their materials. So if they want to study, they have all the material they have is correct. So they can make class notations, and for example, they cannot concentrate well, or they missed something, but it gives rest in the head if you know I have my material is okay. So if I study, I have everything and it's correct. Wow. So every exercise from math or languages, and so that's also important for them. So
this is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then about instructions. So we really, from the first year on, we really learn them to how to make a test, how to make an exercise, how to ask for help. So we learn everything we expect from them. So we
Wow,
do
so
not.
you teach them basically what is expected of them at the
Yes.
end of, yeah.
In the
Yeah.
first years, we are really, really on that. So, and the extra care for peoples with autism is really on in that place that we learn them to with compensating measures, for example, we learn them to organize themselves and to find the rest to study, and that they really want to know what is expected from me. So we have to be very clear, what do we expect from you? We want you to read the book. Yeah, and if you say, I want you to make a summary, that's not okay for them. Yeah, this summary, what do you expect from me? Is it on paper? Is it digital? Can I use spellings corrector? How long does it has to be? Uh, do I have to, what is the goal of this summary? So we really take attention of this kind of questions.
Wow.
So one of the things we do is we try to give the success criteria to the pupils on before so that they know what to do to be successful. And that's something that's good for all students, but specific for autistic students. It's very important to know what is the measure that my teacher will
Well,
correct.
mm,
Where lies the measure? Where is the goal? What do
where's
I
the
need to
goal?
do? Yes.
Mm.
So and that's very important. So that's also then in also with planning and organizing in the first 2 years, we say your folder of your how do you call this? It's a folder, I think.
Yeah, it is a folder, yeah. Yeah, dossier
Yes,
folder.
yes, your folder
Mhm.
and the color on your LMS of this subject is the same. For example, for French, your folder is in red.
Mhm.
On your LMS, the tile on your LMS for French is red. In the calendar on the LMS and the to-do list, where everything is in the calendar from what all the deadlines, all the French tasks, all the French tests are in red. So we really, if they see red, they know it's French. If they see
Fantastic.
yellow, it's Dutch. If they
Mm.
see orange, it's English. If they see green, it's math. So we really, and we see that some students, they use it when they are in the third or the fourth year, they still use these colors. So in the first degree, we really take that as a basic measurement that we say you need these colors so that you know how to organize. If you say, oh, it's Dutch yellow. So the link between what they see on the screen, a yellow task, for example, and the yellow color is with the yellow map. So that's a kind of way we structure it.
Yes.
Um, that,
Associative thinking. This is amazing, Martin. What you're explaining in there is really, really amazing.
but
I mean,
it's
if I
simple.
Yeah, well, if I summarize it, I think you're already in your framework, you adapt the environment. So the environment also make sure that these stimuli are reduced according to the subject, to the class. Then you have the learning management system where they know how they can access materials and do it at their own pace. Then more than that, you are going to the color coded that they can make associative thinking in between. That's the subject and that's the, and then also you have then the opportunity to know their goals and what is expected of them. You set up the expectation. I think it's really, really amazing. I really mean that. I have met a lot of schools, but what you do there is super laudative. I think many people should know
Um,
what you're doing. Yeah, and this base is because you set up all the framework. And is your school having any partnerships or programs in place to support the transition to the workforce? That means how do you prepare them for the next step? So they will be sitting, taking lessons and that, but the next step, transitioning to
yes,
the workforce. Yeah.
that's
Could
only
you
for
just describe? Yeah.
yeah, that's only for our vocational students then.
Yes.
So we have vocational students in the care sector.
Mm-hmm.
So the elderly care and kindergarten. So we teach them elderly care and kindergarten. That's our subject we have in our vocational training. And in the last 2 years, they learn their practical subjects, so to take care at the workplace. So they have theoretical classes in school. Then they have what we call workplace learning, and then they follow one coach, like for sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes 6 weeks. And after that period of workplace learning, they have their internship in the same institution. So sometimes they stay for 12 weeks in one institution, so that they really know the environment. And for people who need extra care, for example, people with autism or other learning disabilities, during that workplace learning, because at that moment they are there to learn their skills. Mostly their skills that they learn at the workplace. We try to accommodate with the workforce at that workplace. What does the student need to be successful? How do they get there on time? What if they get too much stimuli? What do we do then? Can they take a break? And so on and so on. So we really try to emancipate our students in a dialogue with the working place. And so if they do their internship following the workplace learning, then mostly we kind of adapt all kind of strategies to have a successful internship. Wow. And that really prepares them to, if they are adults, to if they go to a workplace, that they say like, oh, I did my internship there and there and there, and we kind of worked it that way. It worked that way for me. That is important. They really have to know their needs and how a workplace can come to them and get account of those needs. So that's the thing we want to do. We are emancipatory education, we call it, in French education. So the goal of us is that they learn to work with their own needs. So that's the way of. But in Flanders, we have not only a 6th year, we have also a specialization year, a 7th year, and then you really are a caretaker. But that we don't have in our school. As most of our students, after our 6th year of vocational training in elderly and children care, they go to their specialization year, or they go to the basic graduate nursing. So they go to the nursing school for a graduate nursing, like that's a kind of, I don't know how to, it's called in Belgium graduates. It's not a bachelor, it's a graduate. It's like a basic nursing.
Yeah, like the foundation. And this is really interesting. What your pathway is to actually make this transition to work. Do you encourage these places where your students are doing the placement? Do you encourage company to hire individuals with autism? Do you encourage the company, so they say?
Not explicitly. We do not encourage them explicitly. The most of the time, if they are content, they offer them a job, for example, in the weekends. So a lot of my students have a weekend job.
Can you share a personal story, like a success story that's where they found meaningful
I did not have any pupil with autism in we had a pupil with a really heavy form of NLD, it's called. That's a neuro-linguistic disorder. So that was a girl who was really it was hard for her to be in switching contexts. So she really needed structure. She really needs stepstones. So she knows if I go into a room of an elderly one and have to wash her, for example, what do I have to do? Which steps do I have to say and to do? For example, I say good morning, Is it okay that I wash you? We gonna do it on the washing table, or do we take a shower, for example? Okay, I put my stuff that I need to wash her. Where are the towels? Is your which soap do you want? And so on and so on. So they just take all the steps. And like that student, once she was, you have to know in the fifth year, it's their first time they come into elderly care or kindergarten.
Mhm.
In the sixth year, it's a second year. And the second year, she did an internship. She really had a weekend job because they say if you can do this with your plans, it's okay for us because if you use your plans, you're doing well.
Mm.
So it's the result that counts, not that you need this kind of plans to hold on to. Like we had another student who was very easily lost in a building. Facilities for elderly care are sometimes very big with a lot of corridors and so on and so on. And he really needed a plan to find his way through the facility, but that's okay. So I think because of the finding workers in care at this moment is so difficult that they are very willing for students who deliver good work to really give them a job or a weekend job or a real job later on if they are turn 18. So that's we the only thing that they suffer with, or that when it's hard to to get into dialogue, is when a student is not interested in the job.
Mm.
But that's normal, I think. So,
Yeah.
and I see it, it's not in correlation with a learning disorder.
Mm. No.
Like a
Yeah.
student with a
Mm.
learning disorder that really wants to take care of elderly people or really wants to work in a kindergarten, we can coach them and we can see how far can we stretch it to meet the goals of your job. We we have what it's called beroepskwalificaties. It's our qualifications
Mhm. Good.
for your beroep. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's a thing we strive for. Like, how can we, with help and all kinds of help, that could be conversations and like all kind of assets we use to get and help, can we reach these goals of the qualification standard or not? So in the end, if we give a degree, they have to meet the qualification standard, but they can have help and they can have support, and that's okay
Mm.
because of the hard job markets now in care. It's kind of helped that during the Corona crisis, our students did go help in the nursery and the elderly care. They did help because it was a really big crisis over there with lots of deaths, and our students, they just picked up their ward and they
Wow.
went into the war. So
Fantastic. This is
that was
really, really
that
amazing work you're doing there, Maarten. Sorry. Yeah.
we take responsibility,
Mm.
and so you kind of try to have a relationship with the mentors from the workplaces. Like yesterday evening, we had an evening with the mentors of the kindergartens that we work with. So, and then we really go into dialogue. We really sit at a round table and we ask them, how is your experience with our students? Are they well trained?
Mm.
With the special students who need more care, is it okay? What do you need from us? Do you need training or not from us? If you want to evaluate, are the forms that we use, are they handy for you? Is it clear what we mean with all the things on the forms? Does it make sense for you as an organization? So it's that we do every year. Everywhere we send an invitation to all the institutions that we work with to have this kind of a round table to ask them what is going well and what is going wrong. What can we make better for you, and so on. And so we evolve in our tactics to have a good mentorate for our students.
Really great experience, and I'm so glad that we have this conversation, because many people will hopefully will watch this video and learn from it. I learned myself. So, as a conclusion, what advice would you give to other organization or school vocational to be looking to improve their higher practices for our autistic individuals? What advice would you give them? Like now,
I think that it's really important to know the needs of this particular students. And that's very difficult.
Yes.
Because if they are younger, they really don't know it by themselves.
Mm.
So it's a kind of, how do you say it? A trial and error. If they are a little bit older, for example, 15 or 16 year, they really know what their needs. They need how much stimuli can I take? What do I do if I'm overstimulated, and so on and so on. So they can, and that if you make strategies, the pupils really need to understand that strategy and they are to agree with it. So my own son has ASS.
Yes.
So if we in the beginning of the year we do the intake every year, and we evaluate what the last year was, what measurements did work, did not work, what do you really need, and it's evolving during time what he needs, because he learned some stuff earlier, so he don't need support for that anymore, because he can do it by itself. So that's the kind of the way you have to look at you. You have a couple times a year, you have to really take, oh, what is now urgent? What do you need now the most? And how can we provide that? And how can we, what things are good in the future that you can do by yourself in the future, and what things you need ongoing support for. So that's a really important thing, that you try to search for this particular student, what he needs. And the second thing is more a kind of a policy thing. Yeah. If you have all these particular needs and all this particular support at a certain moment, you have to, as an institution, map everything and then say, oh, can we change something to our organization? That some things are like, in a way, prevention works. Like this color of mapping is of the folders is something that we did later, because people with autistic disorder, they need it, but every student could get better because of that.
Excellent.
So that's more like the second phase, that you do the meta thinking and mapping all this, and then you can say, like, instead of doing this, because this is a really big group, because a lot of these things for autistic children are the same for ADHD or other learning problems. So, and that's the thing of UDL, that you ask yourself the design question. Can we design our education in another way, so that we don't need to take special measurements for those pupils? So, for example, we educate with a laptop. So this means that pupils with dyslexia can always read all the stuff, because every material is also digital available. So they can put their sprint on and they can listen to the text, or they can write with text aid and so on, because we use a laptop. So that's one simple example of policy.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah. This is amazing, Maarten. I'm saying it again because it's really revolutionary what you describe happening in your school. So hopefully more schools will take examples for you, so you may get more visitors. We will conclude in here, and thank you so much for taking the time and answering those questions. The interview will be published on our Autism Spectrum Pathways channel, and we will send you the link, and then can be promoted in your research group as well. So we are concluding here. Thank you so much. I will stop the recording if that's okay with you.
And that's okay.